standing here. I just really love this topic. So I am a full-time remote employee, which means I do this day in and day out. And I've found that AI has just saved me a ton of time. And also, it's quite nice to have someone to kind of talk to while you're working. I work for a company in Dublin, in Ireland. I manage an audience of around 445,000 people across 5 different social platforms. The most prevalent is LinkedIn, where I have an audience of 220,000 that I actually grew 30,000 followers in the last 12 months. I don't only just do that at work, I actually head the annual webinar plan for the marketing team. So I work with top marketers like Think Strategist and Cannes Lion judge Mark Pollard from Sweathead. I work with top SEOs like Matt Santos and Neil Patel. And I also work with emerging AI trainers such as Kerry Harrison in copywriting with AI and Will Francis, who does marketing for AI. So I really enjoy that area of my job too. And I do actually freelance now as a part-time digital nomad and go pretty much anywhere that I can get away with going. Sometimes I do have to hide because we're only allowed a certain amount of time out. Anyhow, we won't talk about that too much. I'm freelancing too with Remote Base, the Nomad accommodation. I do their Instagram, and I've helped them also grow it 25% in the last 12 months. So it hasn't always been that way, though. I haven't always been into social media and marketing. I used to be a dancer. I ran my own dance business for 12 years, where I would travel around the southeast of Ireland, teaching people from 5 years old to 75 years old different types of dance. So I do understand when you run a small business, a small brand, how challenging it can be to do your marketing. But for me, I wasn't a screen person. I wasn't a digital person until the pandemic hit. So the biggest mistake I made when I was doing this business, when I was working with kids and young people, was that I was actually not online at all. So yes, I'd throw out a few emails, I would contact people by text message, that kind of thing, but I literally didn't use screens. I outsourced everything to do with digital because I absolutely hated sitting behind a screen. But when the pandemic hit, unfortunately, one day I had a business and the next day it melted away. And days turned into weeks, and weeks turned into months, and months actually turned into a year that we weren't able to fully get back to work. So I took advantage of every single opportunity the Irish government was offering, and I did a master's degree in digital marketing. And that allowed me to understand how I was going to be able to possibly take my business online or do a brand new business. So during that time, yeah, I made a big mistake also and went into office, and it was absolutely a disgusting experience for me. Sorry, sitting in this, sitting in the same room under the same strip light, group of people just pinging each other on Slack all day. I was like, what am I doing here? I can't actually stand this feeling. So I soon quit that. I had no other job to go to. I was still studying at the time. But on one of my beautiful forest walks, listening to a podcast, I just heard these two guys really passionately talking about digital nomadism, the lifestyle, how you could work from anywhere, do anything, go anywhere, be anything that you want. And I was thinking, who are these people? So it was the About Abroad podcast with Chase Warrington, and he had the guest Chris Chera from Remote Base. So I was listening to him talk about his business and how he was raising a brand from zero and that he was doing everything on his own. And I knew how difficult that is when you try to raise something on your own. So I just said to myself, what about if I get on LinkedIn, reach out to this guy, see if I can get an internship or some kind of remote work doing my thing, and maybe it will help me to get away from that office environment. So I reached out, started freelancing with Remote Base, and that led to working at the Digital Marketing Institute, the job that I do now full time. So for me, AI has actually taken my job from being a little bit messy. If you're a creative person, sometimes your mind can be all over the place. So for me, AI has not only speeded up the process, but it's also helped me to structure what I do and enable me to hopefully do it better too. And so this is what it used to look like: mind maps, highlights, lots of post-its, very messy when I was actually doing strategy or planning. But for AI, a lot of people think AI is going to take the job, but for me, AI took my job to the next level. There's me working remotely from a sailboat on Valencia Marina earlier this year. So this is the kind of time it can save you if you do invest just a little bit in learning it. So let's begin. And I'm going to show you Gemini. I don't know how many people are using Gemini right now, but for me, I use this because it is powered by Google. It's free and it's super easy to use. So it's going to give you the best real-time web results, okay? Because it's Google. So what we're going to do is we're going to start with a little prompt. I'm just going to show you the vibe of how it works, and then we're going to get into our planning. Yeah. So there's a little prompt here. I do kind of short prompting. I don't actually go that in depth with them, and they seem to work for me. You can always talk to them a little bit more if you need to get more information. So I'm creating a social media strategy for a nomad accommodation brand whose target audience is traveling remote workers and digital nomads. I'm just going to ask it a simple question. What days and times is best to post on LinkedIn? So if you don't have any historical data, you're not a big company, you don't have a marketing team, there's no budget, and all these things, you can start here by just asking a little bit of research questions to get you going. So it comes back with a ton of information, of course. We've got days of the week, we've got times, and it even gives you like a little tips there for optimizing your strategy. But what I really like about Gemini is the fact that we all know with AI we need to double check our results. Otherwise, you could be just putting out rubbish there. So when you're doing your research, you can use the little button at the bottom, which is just the Google button, which is going to double check the response. So what that does is it actually searches Google for you, okay? And if it comes up with a good result that has a reputable website behind it, it will turn green so that you know that you've actually done your Google search within AI. If it comes back orange, unfortunately, you need to make sure you do more research. So if you're doing industry research, you can then double check that with this tool. Okay? So then it's going to give you other things like how often should you post on LinkedIn to increase your visibility and what posts are most successful on LinkedIn. So it can give you extra little questions there to help you along with further research. Right, so that's kind of one use case for Gemini. But what I want to do is imagine if I was starting a nomad education company and it was about up-to-date information on the lifestyle. I've got nothing to go on. I'm starting from scratch and I want to do a short form video in particular. So I'm going to give you a little prompt and I'm going to get it to come up with a ton of topics so I never run out of content ideas to post. So I'm creating a social media strategy for an online nomad education company that delivers up-to-date information on the lifestyle. Give me a list of topics of the target audience of digital nomads between the ages of 25 to 45. Now, you can obviously use AI to create personas and go really in depth with your target audience, but I've just put a brief one in for today. So it's going to come back with all of these content ideas. So we've got things like foundational knowledge, how to get started as a digital nomad, financial planning, legal considerations. Most of the stuff we've been doing this week is here. We've got things like finding nomad-friendly destinations and building a remote work routine. So it's going to come back with all of these content ideas that you don't have to worry about. So we're going to just bench that for a second, and we're going to keep that in mind that we've got all of those topics ready to build a nice content plan for short form video. So now we're going to combine two different tools together. One is a Chrome plugin, and the other is ChatGPT. So we're going to start off with this, which is Keyword Surfer. You might have heard of it before. It's the best, freest version of keyword research that I've found, because others you do only get a little bit and then you have to start paying. So why would you kind of put keyword research in your social media? Maybe you know, maybe you don't. I'm just helping you out if you don't know. So obviously you want to create content that your target audience is already searching for. If you do that, then you've got more chance of reaching people and getting people to share your content and then feeding the algorithm. So when you're creating content, go in and be like, what are our audience searching for and how can we creatively answer that? So you've got three things that you've already got set up. You know who you're talking to, you're starting with your list of topics, and then you're going to do this keyword research with your plugin. So all we're going to do is take terms from the topics and add them to the search bar. What Surfer's going to do is give you the search volume. I've set mine to the States, but you can set it to absolutely anywhere you want, and it's going to give you the CPC. So as you can see, we've got remote jobs, which is a really high search volume. We've got dating. We all know that's super popular. And obviously digital nomads. So then the really cool thing about this tool is that you can freely pop it into a collection and then you can download a CSV. So once we get any type of spreadsheet, then we can really start using ChatGPT for what it's made for. We're going to grab it, we're going to put it in. I do use the premium version of GPT because I just like the custom GPT functions. You can do this in free too. So I'm going to add it in and I'm going to add another prompt, which I'll quickly go through with you. So I'm a social media manager. I'm creating the social media strategy for an online nomad education company, and it delivers up-to-date information on the lifestyle. So I've given it that information. Then I want it to read the list of keywords and topics that I've given it, and I want it to create a 1-month content plan for a short form video on Instagram. So I want 2 video ideas for 4 weeks over a month. So I'd have 8 video ideas based on the keyword research that we've done. So yeah, it's going to come back with that, exactly that. So the first one is a day in the life of digital nomads. It gives you a concept and it gives you execution if you ask for it. So I like this because imagine if you're not used to creating video and you want to create video for your brand. You can then see what's already being searched for, and then you can have kind of a plan of execution. So you've got 4 points there. Start with the morning routine, transition into various working locations, take a break, go and enjoy some local culture. It's just giving you those ideas if you're not quite video minded. Okay, so we have another one there, which is how to find remote jobs, which are really cool. So what I'm going to do is I like to put all of those into a doc. So I have all my ideas in a doc. I can tweak it. I can obviously add my human creativity. We could add any struggles that we were going through. We could think about how we're going to put together those shots for the videos. And then I'm going to just tell you about this before we move on. So we've got our search terms, but we also want to think about questions. So this tool is Answer the Public by Neil Patel Digital. I don't know if you've used this before. I quite like this because it's going to give you any recently asked questions in the last kind of 30 days across Google, Bing, YouTube, TikTok, and Amazon. So this is a really nice tool. There is a free mini version, and then you have to start paying. But there is a annual or lifetime deal, which is pretty cool on it. So again, you can set your location, and then it will give you this wheel where it's going to show you like the highest searches for questions are in dark orange, and the lightest searches are in lighter orange. The lowest searches are in lighter orange. You can also see in table and like chart view, so you don't have to deal with the circle thing if you don't look at it in that way. It's going to give you alphabetically, and it's also going to give you like when, what, how, all of those question forms. So it's going to come up with things like, are digital nomads happy? Are digital nomads destroying Portugal? Are digital... It wasn't me, it was AI, okay? So you can get lots of questions, and you can use those for the on-screen hook, or you can use them in the caption or even in the text for your video. Okay, so let's see. Now, this is what I absolutely love because I'm a super visual person, and this tool has allowed me to get buy-in from like the C-suite on the rationale behind spending so much time trying to put content together and that kind of thing. So you can use that to get your buy-in, and you can use it to structure your own mind when you're putting content together. So what we're going to do is activate a custom GPT, which is called Whimsical. You can do mind mapping, you can do wireframes, you can do a whole load of visual things with it. So we're going to grab our information from our Google Doc, and we're going to add a prompt inside. So my prompt is just, I'm a social media manager, I'm creating a short form video strategy for Instagram. Read the text that I've copied in here and create a mind map showing a 4-week plan for Instagram Reels. Yep, this works for me. And then you just click allow, and it's going to come back with this. So this is it, it's great. So you've just got your title, you've got your weeks, you've got your videos for each week, and then you've got the concept and execution. The great thing is that you can go into Whimsical for free, you can set up an account, and then you can just be editing. You can add extra branches, you can you can do loads of things in there. You can kind of like just think about what's in the content and see if it's actually what you want. So yeah, now we get to the creepy part, okay? This tool is new to me, but it has been around for a while. I haven't integrated it into work process yet, but I really wanted to bring it up because it's going to allow you to go to your favorite creators, TikTok, Instagram, YouTube Shorts, and it's going to allow you to download their entire data and videos that they've ever uploaded to any of those platforms, which is going to allow you to learn from those people. So I just got Alex Hermosi up here, and he seems to be everywhere, all over the internet, all of the time, viral. So what you can do is, it costs $10 a month for the full suite, or you can just do the cheaper version, which is like 5, which will just give you TikTok, okay? But basically, this is cool because you can filter by time. So you can do it like the last month, the last year, all time. You can focus in on a time period that you like, but you can also do it by metric. So if views are important, or if shares are important, or what's important for you to be able to monitor and prove that your content is actually working to other people, you can filter that, find what they're doing, and then try to spot any viral patterns within their content. And let's see, the other thing that you can do is get your CSV. So once you've got your spreadsheet, you can drop that straight into ChatGPT, and then you can start having a conversation with it. So you can literally ask it anything about that content creator that you like. Another use case for this particular software that I've been thinking about is, imagine if you get like 3 or 5 of your competitors in your niche, and then you download all of their data from their short form video strategies across those platforms. Then you could see what's working for them, what's not working for them, and then you could fill in any content gaps for the target audience too. So, yeah, there's another couple of things in the works on my AI toolkit, if you like, for social media. I've built a custom buffer analyzer bot. So that's like, Buffer is a scheduling tool, if you don't know, for social media. I just pull out my CSV and I feed it in, but I've set it up to check the data first, because we know that's an issue with AI. But I have it set up so it can read the data and it can tell me exactly what it's reading before I ask the questions to do my reports for work that I really don't like doing. So I get AI to do it. And then I'm also looking at a chatbot for Instagram, which is really cool. It's called ManyChat, and that's going to allow you to drop a keyword in the caption, so that if people comment that keyword, it will then automatically send a DM so that you can link your, say, newsletter or free download or whatever in the DMs. So you're not asking people to move off platform to go to link in bio, they're staying in platform, kind of stimulating the algorithm, but also you're able to get your download or whatever you want to your people. Thank you, guys.